Well, they were known as CWACs or guppies, but what they did in the Second World War was no small feat.
In 1942, thousands of women from across Western Canada answered a call for service and enlisted in the Canadian Women's Army Corps.
Now, they trained to do jobs that freed up men to go to the front lines, and it happened right in our own backyard. Laurel Gregory explains.
This was the recruitment film used to woo young women into joining the Canadian Women's Army Corps in 1943.
The safety and effectiveness of our forces rest on the new and exciting work performed so conscientiously and brilliantly by Canadian women.
For many women in Western Canada, the invitation came right after high school. It was exciting, a chance to join the war effort. But it was also daunting. Some recruits had never spent a night away from home.
Our hair was sure bush in those.
Juanita MacKay enlisted at 18 years old.
Everybody was patriotic, you know. They joined because they wanted to do their part in the war.
70 years have passed, but MacKay's memories of that time are vivid. She still remembers arriving in Vermilion, where training was held.
And they come at 6 in the morning after we got to bed. We were there about an hour in bed. And I remember the sergeant pulling the door open and saying, "Everybody up." And I turned to her and said, "Oh, I'm not going to get up this morning." And she pulled the door back home. She said, "Yeah, you are." So that was a lesson I learned, that you did everything they said.
It was 4 weeks of no-frills training. The recruits learned to salute, march, read maps, and drive a jeep. They endured physical training and tear gas. They were paid 90 cents a day.
No ifs, buts, or ands when you're in the Army. You do what you have to do.
Vera Storey trained in Vermilion and eventually returned as an instructor. Like so many of the recruits, the highlight of her time there was bonding with the other women.
If some of the girls were lonesome, well, you helped them through it, and you're a mother hen of a bunch of girls.
The recruits took postings all over Canada after training, doing jobs that would free up more men for the front lines. By that time, they had experience in 55 different trades. Members of the Canadian Women's Army Corps were recently recognized at a ceremony at Lakeland College, the site of training decades ago.
I think it's really important to recognize that women took on roles that they hadn't done before, and it really made a difference in post-war Canada and post-war Western world, because they'd had a taste of working and making more decisions on their own, and it really changed the world.
It changed Juanita MacKay's world, revealing a disciplined, independent part of herself and connecting her forever to her sisters in arms.
I always say that was the best part of my life, and I hear all the other girls that I know say that too. It was just wonderful.
In Vermilion, Laurel Gregory, Global News.